Hey guys, can you guys hear me and see me okay? There seemed to have been a little glitch there in my software. I hope this thing doesn't go south real quick. Can you guys tell me if you can hear me? And if you can see me? Most importantly, you don't want to miss this, right? Hold on. Let me just check. I gotta just verify. All right, it's working. It's working. I'm just a little nervous because I've been having some glitches. I've been having some glitches with my software. I don't know if it's my internet connection, but the internet disconnected a few times this week. So I don't know if that's going to happen again, but let's hope not. And let's hope that everything goes smooth. So good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. How's everyone? Hope everybody's doing well today. Sunday's my favorite day of the week, guys. You guys make it my favorite. I really look forward to Sundays with you guys. So I wanted to say that today we're going to be talking about a host of different things. Definitely gear, music, guitars, you know, the usual. For those of you who are new, I don't know. Yeah, there's a click sound. I know. Just one second. Let me get rid of that. There we go. I think what you're hearing, that click, is when you guys comment, I hear a click on my end. So somehow it's getting back into there. But I turned that off, so it should be better. Slow metronome. Yeah, exactly. So, welcome to everyone today. Thank you for joining me for the Sunday chat. I hope you guys are looking forward to today's Sunday chat just like I am. If you guys are new in the house, just a little overview of what we do here. Addicted to Gear is all about music. It's really about celebrating the simple things in life, you know, music, guitars, gear. And so, what else can you ask for? You know, you got to take a moment to smell the flowers. And for me, you know, enjoying music and guitars is like, you know, what's better than that beyond more music and guitars? So that's what the channel's all about. Fat Philosopher says Tony loves us more than his wife and kids, but not as much as his dog. Guys, my dog is like my poor dog. I don't know if you can. She's hiding behind me because she's embarrassed. She has the cone of shame on her head because she's been scratching this thing that she had on. She had a little, I don't know, a little skin tag, and she kept on scratching, and it got bigger, and it just keeps on. She just keeps on scratching it. So I had to take matters into my own hands and put the cone of shame on her. She's not happy, but hopefully that'll do the trick. We'll see. But yeah, I do love my, I do love my dog a little bit more than people sometimes, but that's just me. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about the show a little bit more. Yeah, this is, you guys are wondering what this is. This is my Telecaster build. This is the one that you probably have seen me building. This one was built, I painted this one. I think I had shown you guys I was painting this body. This was a raw body, and I put it together finally. It's not 100% finished, but I'm gonna post a video maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna post a video on this guitar tomorrow, and I'm specifically showcasing the pickups in this guitar because these pickups are really great. They're actually a set of Gatekeeper pickups from Porter Pickups. I don't know, you guys must have seen me reviewing the Porter pickups in the past. I've done a few different reviews on their pickups, more of the higher end version. I don't know if higher end is the right word, but these guys here are the sort of the more affordable, I can use that term, more affordable set that they offer. 99 bucks a set, guys. And I don't want to spill the beans before I show you the video tomorrow, but I think you're going to be impressed. So definitely I want to get the cat out of the bag because I want to share it with you guys, but at the same time I'm a little bit selfish, and I want to, you know, I want these, I don't want these pickups to go up in price because they're really that good. So yeah, so that's basically the guitar I have here. Now, like I said, it's not 100% finished, so that's why I didn't do the full review on this guitar yet. There's a couple of little things and I'm anal like that, guys. The string T is missing. I gotta get the string T. I've been to a bunch of stores. None of them have the one I want. I like the round, you know, the button version. And for the Telecaster, it's got to be that for me. So I couldn't find one. So I don't have one yet. And sometimes if I strum hard enough, the high E string will pop off the nut. So you definitely want to have that. Beyond that, I lost a spring. I was playing and the little screw came off and the spring came off. So the spring's here somewhere, so I put in another spring and it doesn't match the other ones, and that bothers me a little bit. I mean, it does the job, but I just want it to be finished. And finally, the input jack. Here you can see I'm using my wireless system here. And the input jack, the little center part, the little shaft is a little bit too far in. So sometimes I have to like force the jack in. So I just have to take that out and screw it out a little bit more and get that in the right place. Now I'm playing my wireless system here because less cables and stuff to sort of trip over. Last time they kind of died on me. I don't think they were fully charged. I hope they're fully charged now. Yeah, man, 99 bucks for a set of pickups is really good. And honestly, you know, sometimes when you're looking at a set of pickups that are not that expensive, you kind of just accept that they're not going to be that great sounding. But honestly, these pickups sound great. You know, definitely worth more than 99 bucks. I wish I would have tried them sooner. But for me, they do the job. I'll give you all the rundown in that video tomorrow. So just pay attention for that when that video pops up, and I play this guitar through my amplifier with some nice gain and also some clean sounds and whatnot. So I mean, I can give you a little teaser here. Beautiful clean sound, and you should hear them one day when you hit it with some dirt. And this is on the neck pickup. So you know, the neck pickup has nice clarity to it, and it doesn't get muddy, which I really like. It just sounds full. So I'm really digging the guitar, guys. I think it came out really nice. Plays really, really well. It's heavy though. This is a heavy guitar. The body on this one is not like the pine body I have on my purple Telecaster. This is very heavy, but I think, you know, I don't mind that it's heavy. It's worth it if it sounds good and plays good. So we'll see. I don't think they're gonna jack up the price, Fat Philosopher. I think Brian over at Porter, he's a good guy. He specifically launched this line to be more affordable. And you know, and I think he hit the nail right on the head. So let's say good morning to everyone that's here. We've got quite a few people already here. So let's say hi to everybody that's here. Give me 1 second. So Cushman, good morning. Richard, good morning. Jack Collins, how are you, my friend? Bruce, good morning from New York. Bruce says he found a great deal on a Gibson Les Paul Tribute on Reverb Friday night. Went back 10 minutes later to pull the trigger and it was gone. Oh man, Bruce, sorry to hear that, buddy. I hate when that happens. Isn't that a real disappointment? You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get it, and then gone. It's happened to me on eBay a few times, especially with the last minute, you know, bids. You figure you're gonna get it, you're watching it till the last second, and then somebody snags it away from you. So, what a feeling. But Bruce, if it's any consolation, I chalk it down to it's just not meant to be. You know, if you didn't get that guitar, there's probably a reason why you didn't get it. It's not meant to be. Maybe something better will come along, and you'll be happier in the long run. So don't despair, my friend. Jack is in New York City. We have Alan in the house as well. Wayne, British Columbia. We have Mark. Hey, Mark, how's it going, my friend? Um, Mark just got back from work 4 hours ago. Set my alarm to wake up. Man, that's dedication, Mark. Thank you, man. That really warms my heart, man. I really appreciate that. You can have a little you can doze off, in and out if you want. That's fine. I'm not gonna be offended. Mark's working hard. Jeff is in the house, and what else? Fat Philosopher's here. No new gear this week. Fat Philosopher reports. No big deal. I'm sure you'll grab a couple more things next week. And Christian's here. Christian, my friend, all the way from Germany. Hey, welcome, Christian. So, guys, I just wanted to say something now that I'm saying hello to Christian. Christian, I wanna send a big thank you to Christian because he stepped up. I think if it wasn't last week, 2 weeks ago, I was talking about my EVH Frankenstrat that I wanted to build, and I was sort of filling you in on what I want to do to the guitar and where I am at and sort of the build process. And I had mentioned that I was I was trying to source a Floyd Rose, specifically a German-made Floyd Rose. And I wasn't able to find an older one at a decent price, obviously. And Christian was on the chat that day, and he stepped up and he contacted me and told me he wanted to send me a beautiful 1987 German-made Floyd Rose that he wasn't using. I mean, how awesome is that? And I really do appreciate that, Christian. You made my day, you made my week, and I was hoping to get a Floyd. I was hoping to find a Floyd, but I never expected to be able to get a nice 1987 version of a Floyd, and that's gonna make the Frankenstrat even sweeter because it's vintage. It's an older one, and it's like, how much more goodness can you want? But that just goes to show that there's some great people out there. This is a fantastic community, and I really do appreciate that gesture of kindness, Christian. Every time I do a dive bomb on that guitar, once it's done, I'm gonna be thinking about you, buddy. So give a big thumbs up to Christian for that. I really do appreciate it. And also, Christian also was kind enough to send me some pictures of himself and his gear. And Christian is rocking a really nice Martin. I don't even know if I can pronounce this properly. It's a Martin Horner, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly, Christian. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it's a really nice Strat. It's like a super Strat humbucker single coil configuration with a nice Dynamics switch on it. Looks really sweet, Christian, honestly. And if you guys don't know what the Dyna switch is, it's Ibanez actually has put these switches in their guitars. They're basically switches that allow you to get like 9 positions or even I think 10 positions if I'm not mistaken, as opposed to just 5. So you can do a whole bunch of combinations with 3 pickups. There's a little switch that you have on there, and you can go by all of the combinations. Not only do you do the neck, the middle, the neck and the middle, then the middle and the bridge, and then the neck and the bridge, all the different possible combinations. So it really seems like a really nice setup. And so now Fat Philosopher is saying, Christian, I'm in the market for a vintage German sports car. Sorry, Christian. I opened up a can of worms here. Guys, don't abuse the generosity, please. But basically, guys, I'm looking forward to putting together that guitar. Yesterday, just as an update, I decided to route the body that I showed you guys so that I would be able to continue the operation. And so I created a little template. I don't know if I have that here. I think I do. For those of you that are interested, there might be some of you that couldn't care less about the Frankenstrat, but for those of you that are interested, so I basically printed out a close-up shot of Eddie's Frankenstrat. I blew it up so it was 1-to-1 scale, And basically I traced out the route that is basically here, like so. So I traced out that section and used this as a template to actually route out the guitar. And this is the guitar with the route in it. So it's a messy route, but I think I did a pretty good job considering it was the first time I was messing around with a router. It's, I would say, pretty close. What do you think, guys? I never realized how messy the route was till I tried to do it myself. But it's a disaster. So building a disastrous guitar is not an easy thing. I think it's way easier to build a good quality guitar overall. So this is going to be a challenge, but it's getting there. I got my, the most important part for the tone is the quarter. Oh man, I dropped the quarter. Of course. Of course, you need the quarter. And 1971 quarter, got to go in there. That's where all the tone comes from, right? So that's going to be set up eventually as well. And I'm looking forward to getting the build complete, guys. It's going to be a fun job. The next challenge is going to be routing out the neck for the locking nut. The problem with that is, man, I didn't realize how much dust is produced when you're routing out a guitar. Yesterday I was covered from head to toe. I looked like a snowman. I made the mistake of not attaching any kind of vacuum. And I wasn't even wearing a mask at first, and then I said, no, I gotta put a mask on. It's a mess. So I wouldn't recommend routing out anything without a good ventilation and at least a vacuum to suck up all the dust. But it was an adventure, definitely an adventure. So I'm looking forward to that. So we got a couple of questions. So let me just scroll down here a little bit more. Sorry, I missed some of your questions, so I'm just going to go back up. And, Gospel of Mark, we said good morning to him. And who else is here? In the Blues is here. Hey man, how's it going, Shane? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Hope everything's going well there. And Alex is saying he's watching from St. Paul, Minnesota. He's holding his J. Tercer All Rosewood Telecaster. Just killer. That's a nice combo. I really like that's sort of like the George Harrison model, I guess, right? The all rosewood model. Is it really all, I mean, the neck is rosewood on that as well? That's pretty sweet. I'd love to eventually try one of those. Never did. So some of you like the Frankenstrat. Alan says any guitar with a Floyd is interesting. I believe interesting is the correct term. Not everybody likes the Floyd. It's a love-hate relationship. And it's been that way for me too for a long time. But what I've realized just recently, and it took me a long time to realize this, is that you really need to get the real German-made Floyd Rose systems. Because those knockoffs don't work. They just simply, they're more headaches than they're worth. Let me tell you, as soon as I swapped over to a German-made Schaller or Floyd, everything, all those issues went away. Of course, if you don't set it up properly, you know, obviously if there's a way of doing it, and if you don't do it properly, you're still going to have issues. But if you follow all the guidelines, then it's going to be so much better, and in the long term, you're going to enjoy it a whole lot more. So there's a question here. What do I think about the new Ibanez AZ Essential series? I mean, I like what they're trying to do. I like the styling on the guitars. I think they look really nice. I tried the AZ. The neck was really nice. It was a little beefier. Did I just lose my connection again? Yeah, you know what? These things are starting to act up on me, these little, um, for some reason, they don't stay connected and I have to reconnect. I think after a while, it's because they go on standby. There we go. All right. So I tried the AZs and I like the necks. I like the styling. I like what they're trying to do with the guitars. I think they're nice guitars. And as far as Ibanez guitars go, probably some of the nicest Ibanez guitars that I've seen and tried in a little while. That being said, I'm not a huge Ibanez fan, but with these guitars, I'm warming up to them. And I think that if the price would be a little bit more accessible, they would be really nice guitars to have. The issue is there's a lot of other guitars that kind of can do the same sort of thing for a little bit less money. So I tend to gravitate towards those guitars. I don't know if you saw one of my, look back in my videos, I did a video of a really nice light blue guitar not too long ago. And very similar to what you can get on the AZ series for way, 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 way less money. Even if you decide to tweak it if you don't like it because the hardware is not to your liking, you're still going to be ahead of the game. Bruce says routing is quite easy, but you need to have the correct bits and you have to use a template. The thing is, I freehanded this one. I know I could have probably created a template for it, but I figured a one-time deal, I wouldn't really probably do it again. So I could freehand it. You know, it came out okay. I'm not going to say it was perfect, but it's close enough for what I need. Paul says it's not a bad route. It's an expensive modern sculpture, perhaps presented to the Museum of Modern Art. You know what I'm looking forward to the most, Paul, is actually getting it to look old. I'm wondering whether or not I'm going to be able to pull that off. That is really an art. A lot of people, they knock the road-worn guitars and stuff like that because they're not authentic. And I get that. But just trying to reproduce something like that, it's really like an art. There's people that reproduce vintage furniture. They take modern furniture, they make it look old, they age it and stuff like that. Well, it's the same sort of idea. Alan says that the Floyd specials are made from muck metal and never set up and stay that way. Yeah, I heard a lot of horror stories regarding the Floyd Rose specials. I think they're made of recycled hubcaps or something like that. But yeah, they're not. They're inexpensive, but a lot of people just say stay away. They look good, but they don't really perform all that well. Easy to play guitar. Would you say a Telecaster overall? By the way, I only consider playability as the neck characteristics. I love Telecasters. I'm biased when it comes to Telecasters. As you can see, I have there's one here, there's two in my rack behind me, the purple one, there's the sunburst one. I think there's three actually in my rack. There's another one you can't see, which is the white one. I have a red one. I love Telecasters, and I only realized that recently. They're just great because they're simple. There's really nothing that can go wrong on the Telecaster. They're made like you can actually, hit somebody over the head with this guitar and continue playing, like Keith Richards did on in that concert. I don't know if you guys saw the footage, but Telecasters are they're built like tanks. They're not the most comfortable bodies, I gotta say, because without the tummy tuck and the armrest, they're a little bit angular. But in terms of playability and overall sound and feel, and you can rock a Telecaster, man. You can get very, very close to what the tones and the beefiness of a Les Paul, and you can get the twang and the sort of the spank of a Strat. So I mean, it's a very versatile guitar, and yeah, I'm gonna say Telecasters for me are very easy to play. I never have an issue. They're definitely easier to play than a Les Paul, in my opinion. And that's just the angle thing happening, I think. But that's just me. Wayne's giving me some advice. Always make sure the router bit is tight in the chuck. I had one come loose while I was watching it go right through the back of the custom guitar body I was making. I almost cried. Well, yeah, I definitely make sure they're tight. And if it's going through the guitar, that's not that bad because it could go through you. You know, it's definitely worse, a worse situation. Then you have to explain all the blood marks on the guitar, and you know, then it brings new meaning to Splattercaster. Little gory. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. We're in September, guys. September already, guys. I don't know. You guys, some of you guys were saying that the weather's good in your area. Sucks here today. It's going to be raining all day today, raining all day tomorrow. So it's a good, for me, September, October is they're great months for project builds, because it's still not cold. It's not too hot and humid. You can spray paint. You can work, in the shed if you have to or whatever, and you can get your guitars to dry nicely without being overly humid or, and if it's too cold, it's not pleasant to work. So for me, September, October are the months that I like to hurry up and finish my projects, at least get them to a certain point where I can do the rest of the build indoors. So that goes for the Frankenstrat body as well. I'm hoping to start getting it primed and ready for some black paint so I can start doing the striping on it while we're waiting for the Floyd to arrive and get the other elements that I need for the build ready. So I'm wondering if you guys do the same. If you guys think that you have some projects lined up for the winter. I like to squirrel away some projects for the winter specifically. I'm actually working on getting my my garage set up and just organized a little bit better, so I'm going to be able to work there instead of working in my basement, which my wife is sort of getting frustrated with. So I figured let's move everything to the garage. I'm probably going to be building some drawers today to put into my workbench so I can put all of my guitar tools, my guitar building tools in there. So having a neat working environment for you guys that are building guitars or working on guitars, you know how much time and energy that saves when you're not looking for stuff all the time. You know where everything is. It's essential. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. Bruce says, my only regret about a Telecaster is that I don't have 6 arms, so I can't play three of them at the same time. Well, you got to get one of those multi-neck guitars like the guitarist of Cheap Trick had. You remember that one? Where he had, like, I think it was 6 or 7 necks on a guitar body? You could do that. That'll work. Oh, man. Paul says, the new Ibanez Strat Look AZES are 300 and 350 USD, made in Indonesia. They play like expensive ones, frets and necks perfect. Pickups and hardware are even good. They blow all the squires away. So I'm happy that they're doing that. I think, the Ibanez series is very, very popular. Overall, I think there's a lot of people playing and rocking Ibanez guitars. So if you're one of them, then, having the equivalent of a Squire version of their guitars is going to be like so good. And of course, they always make great modding platforms too, right? I think if they start, if the guitars that they're building and the Indonesian ones that they're building, if they don't necessarily put in a tremolo, so if it's sort of a classic style bridge, they could be good. I mean, it's hard to build an inexpensive Indonesian guitar with a good tremolo, especially the versions that Ibanez usually puts on their guitars, because they're expensive units. Just the bridge themselves go for like $300, maybe even more. So if you're trying to build a sub $400 guitar, you can't possibly put in a good tremolo. So if they go to hardtails or simple trems, then they can pull that off, But a lot of people like the Ibanez with the tremolo system. That's the thing. So it's kind of give and take a little bit. Oh, so Larry says, Should I build a Telecaster or just buy a good used one? So that, those questions come up quite often on the channel. And Larry, it depends on your skills, man. There's two scenarios. If you've built guitars before, or at least put together guitars before, then I would say you can definitely build one yourself, make it what you want, and just make it play and sound the way you want it to be. And it's sort of going to be a custom shop version of your own. That being said, if you haven't built a guitar before, or haven't put something together before, it is tricky. You need to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you can definitely slap a neck and body and hardware together. The tricky part is getting everything set up properly so it plays really nice, because you can't just, slap it together and hope for the best. It has to be definitely tuned in properly. So if you haven't done that before, then I'm going to say it's probably better. You're probably better off just sourcing a used Telecaster. If money's an option, an issue, and you want to save some money, go the used route, and you can definitely find yourself something pretty decent. The thing with building your own guitars is that you can't really sell them for what they're worth at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like this guitar I built for myself. I don't expect to sell this guitar because I like it a lot. And it's sort of like my knock-around 52 reissue. I have a real 52. And so far this one plays better, sounds better, and feels better than the 52. So at the end of the day, I'm hanging on to the 52 for like sentimental reasons, but eventually I might just sell that guitar because this one just plays better. And I built this guitar to be a knockaround guitar. So I expect it to get dinged. I expect it to get, little, marks in it and stuff like that. That's kind of why I built it, 'cause I don't mind it getting banged around. And I think it's going to have more mojo at the end of it when, when that happens. But I'm not going to go at it with a screwdriver and, throw it down the stairs on purpose. Let it age naturally. But it just sounds really good to me. So this guitar, I built it to last. I built it with, good quality components, good quality pickups, and I expect it to last a lifetime. So Alan says, ask Tony to build you a Telecaster. He's getting very good at making them. Yeah, I wish I had enough time to start building guitars full time. It'd be really fun. Would actually be a very, very enjoyable pastime for me. But unfortunately, I don't have enough time to do that. I rarely have enough time to build my own, and I'm usually rushing to get them done. But yeah, you can buy used, you can mod them. They're definitely going to be, I think you're definitely going to be able to get them to play really well. And then when you're tired of it, you can sell it and you can still recuperate your money. So I'm just concerned about the poplar body in both Ibanez AZ and the Squier Contemporary series. I don't know how good is the wood. Well, okay, so let me just put your mind at rest. I have two Squier Contemporary Strats that I purchased, a red one and another one that is kind of a pearl color, white. I have no problem with the body, and they definitely sound a little bit different though. They don't sound as bright, but I'm not sure if it's strictly the body or if it's perhaps also the bridge. Although I did swap one of the bridge blocks to brass. There was a little bit of a difference, but not really all that much. So I'm going to say poplar, to me, at least in those guitars, sound a little darker. But I mean, it's not an uncommon wood. You can definitely rock poplar. Basswood is great, poplar, alder, ash. They're all different types of woods. Paulownia, one of my favorite guitars that I have right now is actually made of Paulownia wood. So what kind of wood is that? This is relatively new. There's not that many guitars that till now have been built with that type of wood, but you're seeing it more and more because people are sourcing other types of woods that are easier to find and easy to work with and inexpensive. And the great thing about Polonia is that it's so freaking light, it's amazing. The best thing is that you walk on stage and no one laughs like they do with a Squire. In fact, it looks like an AZ 2204, which is a $2,000 US model. Yeah, man, if, you know, if that's a thing for you and if you feel that, you know, rocking a Squire is, I mean, a shot to your self-esteem, you know, if you need Fender on the headstock or, you know, Ibanez or Gibson on the headstock for your self-esteem or for confidence, then it's worth it, you know, go that route. But I mean, I've played Squires before and I still play them today, and I don't really care what's on the headstock as long as it plays well and it sounds great. So yeah, I guess I have to check it out a little bit closer because I haven't really given it all that much attention. Jeff wants to know how much time are you putting into a build. It depends on you know, where the starting point was. For these guitars, this one, my purple Telecaster, the EVH Kramer, that one there, those all started off with raw unfinished bodies. And that's where most of the time goes. If you start off with a body that's already been painted, no issues. You can really get them, you can crank them out quite fast, as long as you have all the parts lined up. But when you have to start by painting a guitar, it takes weeks, sometimes months. It depends on how many layers, how many coats you give them, what you're aiming for, what type of paint you're using. If you're using lacquer, typically you have to wait quite a bit between coats. So a lacquer paint job, this is lacquer. My purple Telecaster is lacquer. These took a long time. So if you're talking, you know, how much it would cost to, you know, if I was paying myself, it wouldn't be worth it. Because the hours that you put in, I mean, you'd probably be making minimum wage if you're trying to knock out a guitar for a couple $100, sub $1,000. You probably would be making like minimum wage. So I really don't know how, you know, it kind of explains why the guitars are getting more and more expensive because the, you know, cost of wages are going up, and it takes quite a few hours to build a guitar from zero. Gear Junkie says that my 26 Electrics, my 2013 Squire Thin Line Semi-Hollow Telecaster is my #1 by a mile. There is magic in a Telecaster. Yes, buddy, I agree with you on that. I think you land on the right Telecaster with the right pickups in it, and it's magic. I mean, I still don't understand why, and I've tried to breathe new life into my 52 reissue, but for some reason, it's not one of my favorite Telecasters. I mean, the ones I've built just kill it. I don't understand, man. And that's a really nice guitar, and I wanted to love that guitar, but it's just not the same. So either I'm very, very picky right now and I know exactly what I want and how to build it, which means that, you know, the guitars that are out there on the mass market just don't cut it for me. Maybe I'm getting too finicky about it all, but just in terms of tone and enjoyment, it's just a different thing. Getting the right neck profile, getting the right pickups, it's just magic once you have the right combo. I'm just scrolling through the comments here. Yeah, a lot of people say that the older Japanese Squires are really good. And Larry says his 94 is one of his favorites. I think just the quality of the Japanese craftsmanship, you know, I don't know about it today, but I know that back when the Japanese basically blew the socks off of the American companies trying to produce guitars. And Rico also says that he loves his John 5 Telecaster. Fit and finish equals my any made in Mexico Fender that I've owned and played. So there you go. You know, there's a lot of nice things to be said about Telecasters. I love them. I honestly do. I think that till recently I always thought that they were like country guitars, and I didn't really like the shape of the headstock. You know, I always, because I started off playing a Strat, and for me, headstock Strat shape was just what it should be. And then when I, compared it to this, it was like, what did they do? They just like, somebody just sawed it off or, rounded it off, and they just kept it like that. It didn't seem as nice to me as the Fender headstock. And, I'm a very, very visual guy. I like the guitars to look good. And it took me a long time to warm up to it. But then I got to a certain point where I was really more focused on the sound than the look of the guitars. And as soon as I made that connection, it was Telecaster all the way. As a matter of fact, I rarely play my Strats. I have them. I keep them. There's always going to be a special place in my heart for Strats. But I honestly consider myself more of a Telecaster guy now than a Strat guy. Fat Philosopher says, Japanese still make great guitars. Go and do a tour of the ESP custom shop. Awesome stuff. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. They've always been ahead of the game when it comes to craftsmanship. So I don't expect that to have changed. Yeah, and you're right. The Japanese bullet squires and the like from the late 70s and 80s are really extremely high caliber. I agree. And so much so that they're very much in demand. So you rarely see them used all that much on eBay and Reverb, and when you do, they go pretty fast. Yeah, you're right. There's always gonna be a little bit more hum with a Telecaster than something with humbuckers. Although you can definitely put in hum canceling pickups in your build, but that kind of negates why I like Telecasters. I just like the sound of a good Telecaster pickup, and I don't know. I haven't really bonded with the noise canceling hum pickups, and I don't feel like I want to put one in my Telecaster. The other thing is you can also make sure that your Telecaster is properly shielded, grounded. Makes a big difference. But yeah, you're definitely you're gonna get some 60 cycle hum. That's to be expected. Um, I was wondering if you guys, we're talking about guitars and we're talking about building guitars, but what about effects and pedals and amplifiers? You guys are pretty quiet today. It seems like nobody's buying anything, or maybe the bank account is empty or something like that. But I'm wondering if you guys have picked up anything or considering picking up anything. Last week, you guys were mentioning that there was a lot of YouTubers that were talking about a brand new amp that was going to be coming out that was going to be really cool. I'm wondering if that's the Bogner, the mini Bogner that came out that I saw a couple of people reviewing. Is that the one that you guys were talking about? Because basically, it looks like Bogner kind of followed the footsteps of Friedman, where they're building these little mini amps now. They're kind of like, really, it's a pedal with a preamp in it, in the shape of an amplifier. And I saw a couple of people reviewing these things, so I'm wondering if that's what you guys were talking about. Yeah, so a lot of people are like me. I rarely pick up my Made in America Fender Telecaster. My 1985 Made in Japan is by far my favorite, you know? So there you go. A lot of people agree with me. As long as the Telecaster hums with the melody line, hey, you can always get a noise gate if it really bothers you that much. But, you know, honestly, it doesn't bother me. Once the drummer kicks in, what's the difference? That's what I always say. Plus, the ringing in my ears drowns out the buzz most of the time anyway. So, all right. So Frank says he just bought an Ibanez TSA 15H head and cabinet. So Frank, tell us why you chose to go with that particular amp. I'm wondering. Like to know, buddy. How do you like it so far? Jeff got a Princeton custom amp this week. Congratulations, Jeff. Those Princetons are awesome, man. I'm still keeping my eyes open for a really great deal on a Princeton, and I think when one pops up, I will definitely grab it. I'm just waiting so that I don't have to overpay for one. I agree, Mark. Yeah, from what I saw, also the Bogner did sound better than the Friedman. The Friedman to me sounded very like buzzy. Didn't impress me. But I really don't think I'd be interested in buying those mini amps. Maybe for like practicing at home or something like that. But you know, if you have a pedal, you can get into those sounds very easily without necessarily having to shell out 300 to 400 bucks. I agree, Randy. I agree. My experience with noise canceling pickups has not been good. I tried them a while back and I took them out almost immediately. There was something lacking. Didn't work for me. I bought an OCD pedal recently. They are gorgeous. A lot of people like the OCDs. I don't have one in my lineup. Eventually, maybe I will. I've been looking at them often, but I haven't picked one up. A lot of people do like those. Rico says he got a used Fender Ventura 50s modified. Love it. 4-way plus an S1 switch 2. $675. Nice. The Venturas look good. I like them. I like what they're doing with those models. I'm happy for you, buddy. So is that going to be it now? Are you done for a little while there, or are you going to be looking at something else, Rico? Jeff says he got 70 euros off of his Princeton guitar price matched project music. Nice. Hey, that's a frugal shopper, man. Definitely take advantage of those price matching options that they have out there. Hey, have you guys heard that Dawson Music is closing? Or apparently there's been quite a few layoffs. This is not a guitar shop that I normally visit because there's none in my area, but I'm familiar with the brand, the company. I think Dan Quayle was doing videos for them also, so I'm wondering if he's out of a job. Excellent player, by the way. So Frank says it's one of those amps I believe has what it takes. Plus, I put the Kemper in front. I like to run 2 amps, and most are 15 watts, one clean and one boost. Plus, it's a cool looking amp. There you go. So it seems like you found a great match for what you're looking for in terms of your needs. A lot of people overlook Ibanez. You know, they like the guitars, but they overlook the amps. Haha, Larry, I'm still pulling my hair out, tweaking my helix. Jeez. Larry, I don't know if you listened to me or not in the past. You know, I mentioned this quite a few times, but you jump down the rabbit hole with these units, and it's really a big challenge sometimes to get the playability and the tones that you want in these little units. A lot of people end up selling them after a while. They just get frustrated and they're like, I was getting the sounds I wanted from my amp and pedals all along. Why do I need this? But I mean, they're great units. They really are. I mean, they're very, very flexible units, and they could really go far in terms of your rig and what you want to do, especially if you're using them for recording. But I, for one, was spending so much time tweaking these things that it was like I was spending more time tweaking than actually playing. So it's one of the things with these multi effects units. You just have to be ready for it. Just don't pull out your hair. um, Added a four-way feature to my G&L AZ Classic. I really do like the parallel versus the series pickup sounds. Yeah, there's a lot of nice guitars that are using that now and just giving you extra flexibility in terms of sound. Some people like them, some people don't. I have a couple of guitars that have the coil switch option, coil tapping option, um, and parallel versus series option as well. It's a nice option to have. It comes in handy in certain scenarios for sure. Larry says, I should have listened to you, Tony. Hey, I try and give advice, but I can't force you guys to follow my advice. Don't worry, man. It'll come around slowly. You'll see. Yeah, I saw on IG that Andertons is offering to hire the laid off Dawson's employees. It's a shame. It's good that Anderton stepped up and is trying to snag some of the employees, but I think it's also a question of it's hard to find employees right now. So I'm sure Andertons is sort of stuck also. So are they really trying to help, or they're just trying to fill in their own positions so that they're in a better position? I don't know. The downloadable patches are always great if they're well made. Sometimes people will put patches and share patches. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good. I have to say, I've tried some for my units that I have here. It's hit and miss, because if some people just don't know how to tweak the sounds to make them sound open and authentic, you end up having like some really muddy sounds sometimes. So, but it's if it's generally in the ballpark, I tend to use those patches and tweak them for my own needs, and I get them to where I need them to be. What I like to do is I like to use whatever unit I'm going through. I usually listen to the music through the unit, and then I try to match the sound that I'm hearing in my headphones through the actual song, and tailor it in, just tune it in and tweak it through the unit. So I'm really pretty close. If I can get myself the isolated tracks, those are even better. So if you're trying to get that Van Halen sound or whatever, there's a lot of isolated tracks that you can only hear the guitar in. Those are great to really, dialing in the sound really nicely. Fat Philosopher says that I like the downloadable patches on Mustang amps. Want to sound like Andy Summers? Just download the patch. Takes 2 minutes. Yeah, a lot of times they're really a lot of fun to play with. Tony, I just got an Oko, I can't even pronounce it, the Nanter 2. I have the new NUX vintage analog delay with the reissued Panasonic chips in the Ibanez AZ 80, also a Polish fuzz, Ocvit pedal, muff, and super muff in one. So Paul, you seem to have like all of the pedal angles covered, my friend. I'd love to be able to come and see what your collection is. I don't know where you keep all these things, but it seems like you're covered, man. The Occhio pedals, are great. I had a drive pedal from them at one point that I bought because of Greg's guitars, because he has amazing tone, and I figured I'd try that pedal because I know he uses that one often. He doesn't really saturate the sound with gain, but he pushes it. It was a great pedal, but I ended up selling it just because I felt that the price tag on the pedal was just too expensive, and I was able to get pretty close to those sounds with some of my other pedals. So I'm like that, if I don't really feel that if I feel I can't get that sound any other way, I'll hang on to the pedal. But otherwise, I won't just keep something for the sake of keeping it if I can get close to that sound with other pedals. Dawson's were rescued from bankruptcy last year. Chester now has no music shop. That's sad. But I think it's, unfortunately, man, it's been a challenging year. I think if you weren't in a good place to begin with, the challenges of the last 18 months have definitely not helped businesses. So, unfortunately, it's just a shame to see some businesses go under, but maybe, and on the other hand, having other businesses take over maybe is a good thing in the long run. We'll see. Hey, Mike, nice to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining us today. Bruce says, I heard Philip McKnight had a bunch of FX pedals and was trying to tweak them, and that is why he has no hair. That's not nice. Maybe. It could be true. I don't know. Excuse me, guys. That's exactly right, Rico. Exactly my sentiments. Good news is anyone can upload a tone. Bad news is anyone can upload a tone. It would be great if they vetted the tones, at least if somebody actually tried them to see that they actually do sound somewhat like the tone that they're after, but a lot of times, not great. Sunny YT, greetings from Germany. I bought the Kemper Beretta, the Kramer Beretta special after watching your video. Great sound guitar for just 169 euros. I still don't regret buying that guitar. I actually bought two. The only thing I kind of regret is buying the salmon one, because the salmon one, I'm not crazy about the color. Let's face it, guys. It's not red. It's pinkish, salmony, weird color. But I bought it because I figured at one point I'd probably paint it. My dog's having some kind of dream. She's like barking in her dream there. So if you hear strange noises, it's not me. It's her. Tonefish says, I bought an analog delay at a yard sale. Maybe I should take it apart and start my pedal mod adventure. Why not? Hey, if you're good at soldering, whatever. If you're good at soldering and you know a little bit about electronics, or if you can at least follow schematics, you should be good to go. There's a lot of great do-it-yourself websites that are offering mod kits for pedals. I've tried a handful of them, and I've built a couple of my own pedals from scratch. Hey, it was fun. I liked it. And one of them is still one of my favorite pedals. Actually, two of them are still one. Two of them turned out really, really well. One of them was a Dark Side of the Moon pedal. Was kind of a clone of a Screddy pedal, which is one of my favorite pedals. I built that one. I still have that one. That one plays really, really well. And the other one was a Brown Sound in a Box 2, which was kind of like giving you that brown EVH sound. And I still have that pedal. Hand-wired by me, so it should be worth more money. It turned out well. I was actually surprised that they actually worked at the end of it. The issue with that is that, you know, you can definitely mess it up big time. And if you don't know how to fix it afterwards, you know, you can end up with noisy pedals and whatnot. But if you follow the schematics and you're not colorblind, because those little, you know, the little components, usually they're color coded. So if you're not colorblind and you can follow the schematics, you should be okay. So Paul's telling us that used worldwide, there are deals that I got my Occhio for just 100 off off new free shipping from Israel, and it took 4 days. Locally, I'm selling old pedals over 100 in a year and getting what I paid for them. So I guess what Paul's trying to say is that the pedal market is still good. You can flip your pedals and not lose too much money. I mean, if they're good quality pedals, especially, right, Paul? I mean, if you're going to be trying to flip Joyo and Donner pedals, you're probably not going to get what you paid for. Or maybe you will, because they're, you know, some of those pedals are 40, 50 bucks. Yeah, maybe she's dreaming of tearing apart her cone of shame. Poor dog. I feel like I'm abusing her, but I mean, it's for her own good. Otherwise, she's going to have it removed, and she's going to need stitches, and it's going to get worse. Plus, it's expensive, too. Hey, Seth, good morning, buddy. He had a super late night at the workshop last night completing a build. The plastic nut broke while filing the slots, so I made a new bone nut. Yeah, that's time-consuming, Seth, but it's worth it, man. I'm sure the new bone nut is going to be much appreciated over the plastic one. Rico says, good morning, Seth. Did you show your late note to Professor Tony? Anybody that shows up late has to do finger exercises. You gotta do those finger exercises for at least half an hour. All right? That's the punishment for being late. Yeah, the Joyo pedal wasn't bad. Jamie, the Joyo pedal, you know, it's a clone of a Tube Screamer. Is it really 100%? It's close enough, honestly. You know, there's a couple of companies that are making these clones, and for me, they sound pretty good. I mean, you can buy the real thing if you want, but I'd rather just put the money towards something else. The sweet tea sounded really good, Tonefish. I saw the review online, and it sounded good to me. But I haven't tried it myself in person. Just going by what I heard, I'd grab it. I'm just going by some of the last questions here. William says the Joyo Taichi, great pedal. I haven't tried that one. Is that one of their overdrives? What does it sound like, William? Give me an idea of what I'd be looking at with that pedal. Have you guys seen that? Well, have you actually taken the poll? The poll question today or yesterday was, do you guys record yourself while you're practicing? And the options were, yes, I record every day or all the time. The second one was, I record occasionally, and some not at all. So I'm just wondering, when you guys practice, mostly for practicing, do you listen to yourself play? I always felt that it's a great tool for anybody that wants to get better, because you do get an opportunity to actually pay attention to how you're playing and see whether or not maybe you're playing too quickly or your notes are too messy. Maybe you're overbending or underbending. So I asked the question because I'm curious. I used to record myself quite often, now not as much, just because I don't have as much time. There's just so much things that I can accomplish during the day that sometimes I just don't have the time. So William says that is a Dumble style. I gotta check it out. I haven't seen that one. I haven't tried that one. Richard says my best cheap pedals are Behringer. The Behringer pedals, yeah, some of them have gotten hyped up because they do sound like, I know there's one that sounds like the Tube Screamer as well, and there's a few other ones that sort of they're trying to clone some other sounds. The thing with the Behringer pedals is that the enclosures are plastic, so they don't last. I don't know why they wouldn't at least upgrade the enclosures. I think they were also doing something with TC, right? When they came out with a line that was sort of a budget line for TC, and was in conjunction with Behringer, and those I think had a metal enclosure. Yeah, Seth, it's happened to me before, for sure. You think you're almost done, then I don't know, you break a screw inside the hole, and then you're like, oh man, there goes another couple of hours. You got to be ready for those unexpected surprises. That's the beauty of building guitars. You always have to have a plan B. So Mark says the Joyo vintage phaser sounds like the Phase 90. So if you guys are looking for that EVH sound, you can get it with that one. Save yourself some do re mi. Rico says his new Ventera Telecaster has a soft V neck, and he's never played one before, but he really likes it. Have you played soft V? I have. I like them too. They're kind of in between, you know. They're not bulky per se, but there's a little something extra there. They feel really nice. I'm not like one that's tied into anything that has to be a C-shaped neck. I like variety. I like some guitars to feel and play differently. Otherwise, what's the point of having, you know, a bunch of guitars that are all identical? So I figure that, you know, when you're looking for, you want to have a chunkier neck, you grab the one that has that. You want something that has a slim taper neck, then you grab the one that has that. That's the beauty of having, you know, more guitars, is that you could actually, you know, just hone in to what you're looking for that particular day. Sonny says when he's listening to his recordings, he realizes that I play much better than how it sounds to me while I'm playing. It's almost like when you're, you know, you have a different perspective. But I think I think listening back to your playing is a great way of just being able to address things that are not necessarily working. You know, specifically the bends or the tremolo. Let me just reconnect. These things go on standby a little too often here. That's one of the disadvantages with these transmitters, is they try and save energy, so they go to sleep. So a friend of mine says that when I do the tremolo, I'm with my first finger, I'm pretty nervous because I vibrate a little quick. But I'm just used to doing it that way. I'm not good at giving it a little mellow vibrate. I gotta practice that. I usually do this instead of... If you ever watch, Steve Vai has a really great technique. He does a circular motion when he does the I don't know how he does it, but he almost like turns his finger in a circular motion, and he does it so well. So that's something I definitely could spend more time practicing, and you know, you would notice that if you record yourself, for sure. Oh, so William, it was a happy surprise for you. You got it by accident. Huh. There you go. Meant to be. Sometimes things happen that way. I've gotten a few guitars like that too, that are like, you know, just meant to be. I wasn't expecting to get them, and I got them, and I love them. Jeff says he ordered a quad screamer, screamer from Audio Storm. I met them at their workshop after they built me an attenuator, and I got to try the pedal, and it's awesome. Quad screamer. I can't pronounce it. Quad Screamer. And is that like a souped up tube screamer? What is that, Jeff? How does it work? DW Brown says, I know you have reviewed Axe Tech pickups in the past. Overall, are you a fan of those? I did review those. Yeah, I reviewed a set that I put into a Tokai. They sound good. I'm happy with them. I definitely feel that they're worth it. Except I guess the VAT is a little bit of a pain because I'm not in Europe. So the shipping, the duties, VAT tax, that kind of thing, it makes it so that the overall deal is not as sweet as it could be. But for anybody that's in Europe, I guess you would be able to get some nice sounding pickups at a better price than I can. So Cool Tune says he's got the ME70 and honestly all around good solid multi effects. Never thought of dumping it, and I've dumped everything I've ever had. The ME70. Boss makes good stuff. You know, I've tried a couple of their, I've been through at least 2 or 3 of their multi effects units, and overall they were good, you know. And one thing about Boss is that they do make things that will last, unlike some other companies. So there's that. Building guitars is definitely a beautiful thing. I gotta agree with you, Seth. Can't wait to build more. This is a good comment. Sometimes I think that players are too willing to begin modding instruments that they aren't really familiar with before starting to make changes. I'm guilty of that at times, though I have some stock. I agree. That's a good point. I agree with what you're saying there. Yeah, I think you honestly have to like live with a guitar for a while before you start modding stuff. Unless it's something blatant that you don't like, you know. Like if the pickups on the guitar, I go to pickups because I'm guilty of modding my pickups like crazy because I'm very picky about that. But I agree that, you know, if you get a guitar and you know that you just don't like the sound of the pickups because that's not your sound, then yeah, go ahead and mod it. But a lot of people are kind of too quick maybe to jump in and start, you know, changing things on guitars just because they can, without necessarily appreciating the guitar for what it was meant to be. So I agree with you on that. William says that almost forgot to mention I ordered a Gun Street harness a couple days ago based on your recommendation. Awesome. Which one did you get, William? I hope you mentioned that Tony told me about you guys. I hope you did. I have another Gun Street harness that I wanted to throw into a Strat build, but I haven't gotten the opportunity to start that project yet, but it's gonna come. Do I use my pinky when playing? I do, but mostly for pull-offs. A lot of people don't, though. I think I use it quite a bit. Mostly 1 and 3. But sometimes when you're doing, you have to use your pinky. Right? Or one of these great stretching exercises for the pinky. After that, you're gonna feel a lot of pain, but it's great to get that pinky finger working because, you know, you got 4 fingers you can work with, 5 if you use the thumb. Why not use them all? Rico says, from the Nuix site, the system will shut down itself when there's no signal for 10 minutes to maximize its playing time. Yeah, I know. It's just a pain when you have to do that all the time. It would be great if you can have an option to disable that. Yeah, I did see that, Rico. The Foo Fighters pedal board photos, lots of Boss pedals on there. Boss pedals are indestructible. The great thing about Boss pedals is if one breaks, you go to your local store, you buy another one. They're not hard to find. You don't have to order them. You know, a lot of artists like that. And when you're on tour, you know, if you're using rare stuff and it goes down on you, you're stuck. Did you guys see the Jerry Cantrell Gibson Wino, the model that they made for Jerry? It's out now, and it's a nice looking guitar. Don't get me wrong, but it's $8,999. I'm glad they took the penny out so that it's not $9,000. So it's a limited edition, only 100 made. I don't know, man. I mean, if I was a big Jerry Cantrell fan, I still wouldn't be able to buy that guitar. Spending $10,000, that's US, on a guitar. That's way out of my league. But they only made 100. So if you guys are fans, you can definitely grab one of those. Again, it's a Murphy aged version, signed by Jerry. And hey, you know, if you got the cash, got the scratch, why not? But again, I said it last time, I'm going to say it again. I just feel that Gibson is just really trying to maximize profits by, you know, just overcharging for these things. I mean, I understand a signature series is gonna fetch more money, but come on, man, $10,000 for a guitar, just because it's you know, Murphy aged or whatnot. Come on, it's still the same freaking guitar that you're building. At the end of the day, it doesn't cost you a lot more to swap pickups, you know, to paint it differently, and you know, charging $10,000. I don't know. I just feel that Gibson is, again, they're going after the dollar. I agree, they got to make money, but I don't know. I can't swallow that pill. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if Gibson really wanted to make more money at the end of the day, why wouldn't they make more affordable guitars so they can sell more of them? So people would consider buying those guitars instead of buying some used other model. You know, make your guitars more affordable. Find a way to do it. But I don't think that's something that they really want to do. You know what? And at the end of the day, would Jerry buy the guitar for $10,000? You know, if he had an option, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe maybe Larry, maybe. But anyways, this is just something that I've seen lately, and I can see that Gibson, from what I can see that they have lined up, they're going to be looking at doing more and more of that, like really promoting the signature series a lot. So get ready for that, guys. More Murphy Lab insanity for no compelling reason. It reinforces the message that Gibson is really the brand for 40-year-old guys with too much money, not the best way to grow the brand name with youth. Yeah, I mean, come on, let's face it. The young people are not going to be able to afford a Gibson anytime soon. It's just crazy, you know? So if you're trying to encourage the next generation to pick up your guitars, that's probably not the way to do it. On the other hand, yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, the old guys that have some extra income, that always wanted to have a Gibson for whatever reason, maybe don't even play all that much, you know, they're going to scratch the itch. They're going to, you know, they're going to buy one. They're going to, you know, instead of buying a Corvette for your midlife crisis, well, you'll buy yourself a Gibson because it's cheaper than a Corvette, you know. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's too bad. That's exactly their new slogan. Play what your dentist plays. That should be their new slogan for sure. But anyway, on a side note, I know that there was a couple of great new books coming out. There's a Van Halen book coming out called Eruption and the Aftershock, which is sort of biography on the band, and you know what happened when they came out, and you know they go through the early years getting famous and so on and so forth until the passing of Eddie, you know, that kind of stuff, which caught my interest. I think I might actually take some time to read that. I'm actually very interested in learning what went on, you know, during the day on some of my favorite bands, and that one seems like it could be an interesting book. The other book I could highly recommend if you're a Stones fan. I'm a Stones fan. If you're a Stones fan, check out the Keith Richards book. It's been out for a while now. It's just called Life, and you know it's funny because you know you think of Keith Richards as being kind of a wino, strung out, you know, kind of a mumbling type of guy that you know doesn't know where he is most of the time. But honestly, after reading the book, the guy is very intelligent, and he's very articulate, very intelligent, and the book was very well written, and it made me appreciate Keith Richards, man. The guy is not a dummy, and it's full of you know interesting tidbits if you're a Stones fan and you like that kind of stuff. And the other book that I read also that really was entertaining, also, you know, from somebody who's a little bit of a wino, a little bit of a. Anyways, it's the Ozzy Osbourne book called I Am Ozzy. I read that book out of curiosity. I'm not a huge Ozzy fan, but I figured, you know what, Ozzy's been through so much in his life that he must have some really good stories. And the book did have some really good stories in it. And it made me realize that, you know, the Prince of Darkness was really just a, you know, somebody staggering through life and just stumbling through life and whatever, you know, came up. I mean, he got lucky and he survived. And I'm surprised he's still alive with some of the stories that he has in that book. But great reads if you're interested in reading anything on these icons of music. I suggest those books. Good book. Good morning. Talking about books, I have a big coffee table on Randy Rhoads, and it seems to be worth a lot of money. Interesting. Yeah, I think I haven't seen that particular book, but you know, Randy's life was cut down too short. Too short. He was too young, so I don't really think about Randy that much in terms of like reading and learning about him because I felt like his career was so short. But yeah, in the short time that he was around, he definitely made some ripples for sure. The Sammy book is really good too, so maybe I'll have to check that out. Yeah, now the business model works. Ask Harley Davidson how the business model has been working out for them. Well, yeah, Harley Davidson has been selling more promotional materials like shirts and pins and stuff like that than they have been selling motorcycles. That's where the bulk of their income comes from, believe it or not. Clapton too. Yeah, it seems like all these rock stars have one thing in common. It's, you know, living on the edge, that's for sure. If you, you know, the Eagles, they have a whole bunch of books on them as well. Crazy stories about them. Great documentaries, also, you know, video documentaries on them as well. I love that stuff. I just love, you know, learning more about living the life as a rock star and just what they went through, the challenges. So when I have some free time, that's what I like to watch and read. So William says, exactly my thoughts, because I bought my Gibson in '02, paid $1,200 brand new. I wouldn't pay today's prices. I agree, man. They're really at the verge now. I mean, they're just pushing it. You know, they're pushing it. They're squeezing every last drop out of the consumers to see what they're willing to pay. I mean, I'm gonna buy I never bought a brand new Gibson. My Gibsons have all been used, and I have no problem buying used gear Get the other guy, get the other fool to pay the premium for it if he wants, but I'm not gonna do it. So, it's just not worth it. It doesn't make sense. FX is here. He says just joined, so you're late. You're gonna have to do a half an hour of finger exercises as your punishment. Just kidding. I'm playing a Telecaster. This is a custom built Telecaster. It's one that I put together. Sort of a 52 tribute kind of guitar with a few upgrades, mods. Playing through a patch here on my MG300. It's just a deluxe, clean deluxe patch that I put together. Yeah, I agree, Rico. The Motley Crue video, I watched that one. And yeah, if it was today, I mean, that stuff would not fly. These guys would be in jail so quick. I mean, it's crazy what they got away with back in the day. You cannot do that anymore. So you have to really be careful these days, let me tell you. Your ass would be in jail so quick it'd make your head spin. I mean, they'd be not only the drugs, but the sex, taking advantage of the girls and groupies and all the crazy stuff that went down in those days just wouldn't fly anymore. I heard that story. Jeff, I heard that story too. I mean, that's just the craziness of the time. Yeah. Says he went out with Keith Moon one night for a couple of months. Exactly. Keith and Joel Walsh together, I'm sure they had a great time, especially back in the day. Think about it. I remember them... Joe Walsh told a funny story where Keith Moon and him were just like partying or whatever, and he used to like spend a lot of time with Keith Moon because he was like out of control. But at one point, Joe also mentioned that he went out for supper with John Belushi, and they wanted to go out and eat at a fancy restaurant because they were hungry. And they showed up there and they weren't wearing appropriate attire. They had to be wearing, slacks or whatever. And they showed up probably wearing jeans or whatnot. So what they ended up doing, instead of going and change, they really wanted to go eat there, and they didn't want to go get a change of clothing. So they ended up just going to the hardware store and buying a can of black spray paint, and they sprayed each other's pants black. And they went back in the restaurant to eat, and they did. And then when they got up and left, they had like black paint all over the chairs. Again, I think you can get away with this kind of stuff when you're a well-known celebrity. I don't know about anyone else. Keith Moon was another one. Surprising that he was still alive. That he stayed alive so long. Those stories about him taking horse tranquilizers during the show and just basically keeling over in the middle of his drum solo, and he was out cold for I don't know how many days. Things like that. It's just crazy. Rico, is that true that Joe Walsh and Ringo are brother-in-laws? If that's true, that's something I did not know. And it's interesting piece of trivia there. Sorry, I didn't know that. Well, guys, listen, I'm up to an hour and a half of talking here, and I think we're kind of at our limit for today. I was, again, hoping just to keep it to about an hour's worth of chit-chat, but the conversation got interesting there for most of us, so I don't mind staying on a little longer. But if you guys want me to stay a couple more minutes, I'm happy to take some specific gear and guitar related questions like I always do. So just now's the time to pipe in if you're lurking there and just lurking quietly and just listening in, and you have a question. Now is the time. Yeah, Paul, I agree, man. Everyone complains or thinks it cannot continue, but guys buying full pop for Gibsons but are selling them for more or at worst breaking even. You know what? I mean, if you can take advantage of the scenario and, make it worth your while, then it's fine. But I mean, the average Joe that wants to just buy a guitar to play has a lot of choice when it comes to, a $3,500 expense. You know what I mean? That's my point. If you're going to be looking at a great guitar and a great playing guitar, for $3,500, you have a lot of choice. Me, I mean, I'm happy with a Telecaster, and it's not going to cost me $3,000. Even if I buy it in the store, brand new. Needless to say, the ones that you build are even less expensive, and I'm not going to say they're necessarily worse. So it's one of those things, man. Larry has a question. Do I prefer 21 or 22 frets? I don't really have too much of a preference. I mean, honestly, I like both. I think 22 is nice because it just gives you an extra fret, You have that extra reach. Why not? Why not go that extra note? But I don't really mind. A lot of my guitars have the little extension at the end, like this one does. And it just gives me a little bit more flexibility. But, if I have a nice neck profile that I really like and it only has 21 frets, I'll put it on there. I'm more into, how the neck feels overall. That's what I'm mostly looking at. If it happens to have an extra fret, even better, But I'm not that picky. What are the favorite pickups that I've upgraded to? Okay, well, that's a great question. But I have a bad memory, and I've done so many pickup upgrades in the last little while. So let me try and think. I mean, the ones that are in my guitars right now are all favorites for different reasons. And I know that sounds like a diplomatic answer, but it's really not. If the pickups are in my guitars, it's because I like them. Which one is the favorite? There's so many good ones. They're not all boutique, by the way. I mean, the ones that I've tried that I like a lot, Monty's Guitars makes a great set of pickups. For the humbuckers, I have one of those in one of my guitars, and I just love them. There's high end, there's low end. High order pickups also makes some great pickups, and I have another set of those in my other Tokai guitar. The Gatekeeper and pickups in this guitar for $99 is a steal, in my opinion. Great sounding pickups. Porter makes great pickups. Peg City has some really nice pickups as well. Pariah, there's some really nice Pariah pickups I have in another guitar as well. It really is, it's too vast to narrow it down to one specific one. I mean, honestly, if I found one pickup that worked well in all of my guitars, I'd be extremely happy. But that's not usually how it works. Every guitar has a different nuance, and you have to really match the pickups to what you're looking to get out of that guitar, if that makes any sense. But I like the Tone Rider pickups. I have a few sets of those, the City Limits, in a lot of my Strat guitars as well. Pretty inexpensive pickups as well. There's a lot, man. There's a lot. So William, I don't know if that helps, but I mean, you can check back in my videos. I've done reviews, quite a few reviews on pickups as well, and you can actually hear what the guitar sounds like with those pickups, and see if they match what you're looking for. MF says he's thinking about buying a baritone, Squire or Dan Electro. I can't really help you with that question. I don't really play baritone guitars, and I don't want to lead you down the wrong path on that. But if there's anyone here who does, feel free to pipe in and help MF. The Edwards guitars. There's a lot of guitars that are floating around, and people are trying to get prime dollar for them. Same with the Tokai Japanese models and stuff like that. You know, use your best judgment when it comes to those kind of deals. They're not all great. Some of them, you know, I wouldn't spend $2,000 on that. That's just me. But somebody who's actively looking for one of those and can't find them, you know, don't be afraid to negotiate a little bit, even though someone's asking $2,000 for it. But I agree with you. For two G's, you can definitely buy some pretty killer basses as well. Do I have a video about my Telecaster buildup? I do a couple of I do have a couple of videos on my purple Telecaster, and I do have some videos that are what I call my messy workbench series, where I go about and show you how I do certain aspects of the build. Not A to Z, because it would just be too long, but I normally will show you how I do a fret level, or, you know, how I install pickups or tuners and whatnot, how I put guitars together, or part of the paint job process. So there's a lot of interesting videos in my collection that you can refer to. And if there's something specific you want to see, just ask, and next time I'm working on a guitar, maybe I'll take the time to actually videotape that. As long as it's not routing, because, you know, I can't videotape anything while I'm routing. It would just destroy my guitar. Not my guitar, my camera. The dust would just go everywhere. Yeah, Gibson, Fender, PRS. Those are pretty much the boutique lines of guitars that don't really depreciate all that much. Some more than others, but I mean, you know, generally, if you're gonna buy a PRS guitar, for example, just like a Gibson, they don't depreciate all that much. People sort of would rather hang on to them than sell them for less. Russell, you're right. Absolutely right. And that's why I prefer to support other companies. You know, you can get companies that are going to be putting together guitars that are going to be half that price, and that are really offering quality, craftsmanship, and they really do care about their customers. You know, whereas, you know, you look at other companies and they're just riding on the coattails of what has happened before in history, and they're just trying to pick your pocket, you know. So it's really up to you as a consumer to determine where you want to spend your money, and that's the best way of getting the message across. You know, just spend where you think you're getting the most value, and if it's not with the big name brands, so be it. Henry says, do you know the Tokai Telecaster Breezy Sound? Yes, I do. The Breezy Sound line is their current offer. It's a more recent offer, and Tokai has Telecasters and Stratocasters called the Breezy Sound, and they have a different headstock on them, and they're just offering the Tokai name, and not necessarily trying to make it a replica of anything specific. I mean, they still do look like Telecasters and Stratocasters from Fender, but the headstocks are different so they don't get sued. But I'm sure the quality is going to be good on those guitars. Yeah, that's another option. You can buy straight from Japan if you like, pay the shipping, and then wait for it. But I think today, with the luxury of being able to buy everything online at a click of a button, people can search all over the world for the best deal they can possibly find on a guitar. And at the end of the day, if it's something that you're after and you're willing to pay for the shipping and handling, you can still get a good deal. And a lot of companies and a lot of businesses are willing to negotiate. All you got to do is ask sometimes, and they're willing to knock off an extra 10%. So yeah, it's not as easy as it was back in the day for brick and mortar businesses to sort of just happily take your money, because now people are wise shoppers and they're going to do their homework before they actually buy anything in a store. Yeah, I'd like to hit some Labor Day deals, but are there any? I don't really think I've seen that many Labor Day deals. The only thing that I can share with you guys is that if you guys are looking at recording and you're into recording, I believe that there is a deal happening, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm just trying to remember where I saw it. But you can buy, if you're into recording and you're using Reason, or you're thinking about using Reason as the software for your DAW, you can actually get it for free for a 90-day trial. And the link is on Reverb. You have to go on Reverb and just search for it. You probably will be able to find it. So if you're considering evaluating Reason, maybe if you're a Pro Tools user or you're a Logic user and you want to try Reason, download it. You have it free for a couple of months, and maybe you can see whether or not it's right for you. That's pretty much the only deal that I've seen for Labor Day. But if you guys have something better, let me know. Mark, I'll definitely make a note of that. And next time I'm working on a guitar and swapping in some humbuckers, I'll do it for you. Oh, for sure. I'm going to be putting in a humbucker in this Frankenstrat, but that's going to be a little bit of a different deal, because I'm going to have to kind of wire it the way he did, which doesn't really, it's not a typical wiring thing. But for sure there'll be other pickups that I'm going to be putting in guitars and stuff. So stay tuned for that, and I'll definitely walk you through that, my friend. Don't worry, it's not that difficult. Thanks, Rico. I'm glad you appreciate those messy workbench videos. I wasn't sure whether or not it would be interesting for people. They don't get huge views because I think most people are not necessarily building their own guitars. But for those of you who are, then definitely check those out. There'll be more. There'll be more coming for sure. Yeah, and I did. I don't know if you missed it earlier, Rico, but I already did root out the. I did the rooting on it. Maybe you missed it, but it's already done. There it is. So I didn't videotape that because there was dust flying everywhere, and I would just destroy my camera if I would leave my camera recording while I was doing that. So unfortunately, I can't show you the process of that. Sorry. Sorry, I'm just going down the last few comments because I'm falling behind again. So you want to take the PRS SE and put some new buckers in it. Yeah, no problem. We can definitely do that. It doesn't really matter what kind of guitar you're putting the humbuckers in, whether it's a Gibson or some other guitar. It's all going to be wired the same way. But yeah, the SE I put pickups in my SC not long ago, and if I would have known, I would have probably recorded that for you. It's a little tricky to record because it's almost like doing microsurgery. You really have to be close up to be able to see what you're doing, and it's a little hard to film. But once I have my garage space set up, I'll be able to do that a little easier with some better lighting. So Paul, I'm not surprised. And honestly, they don't have any deals. We're talking about Long and McQuaid for people who don't know. Here in Canada, Long and McQuaid is a chain that sells guitars, and they often promote Fender month, Gibson month, that kind of thing. But honestly, whenever there's a Black Friday comes around, or something specific comes around, they never have any good deals. It's a shame. So I don't really go too crazy shopping there anymore, because honestly, every time I do go there, I'm disappointed. The last couple of times, the only reason I'll go in there is to buy some strings, or if there's something specific that I can't find anywhere else. But other than that, I'm usually underwhelmed by what they have to offer their customers. Russell says PRS is building at Court now. Will not buy Court. I'm wondering, I mean, Court has been around a long time. They're actually very good guitar builders. They have very good equipment. Court builds guitars for a lot of companies. So I don't know if the quality will go up or down, but I'm going to be curious to see what they offer. So guys, I think we're going to have to wrap it up. I would love to keep this chat going for another couple of hours, but I really have to get cracking and get some stuff done, including finishing up some videos for you guys. Like I said, there's going to be a new video out tomorrow. I'll put that out, and that is on the Gatekeeper pickups in this guitar. So if you're curious to hear these pickups in their full glory, stay tuned for that video. Leave your comments after that. I'm just curious to see what you guys think of them, and if you like them, then head over to Porter Pickups and check them out. They have a whole line of pickups, by the way. It's not just Telecaster pickups for $99. They also have humbucker pickups as well, and some Strat pickups. And I'm very curious to try some of the other ones out, because I think for the money that they're asking for, the sound that I was hearing is they're batting way above the average in terms of what you can buy for $99. So definitely check those out. And obviously, guys, there's going to be another show next Sunday. Actually, next Sunday, yeah, we're going to have another show next Sunday. I was trying to squeeze in another show possibly midweek for people that are not usually available on Sunday, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So let's just aim for Sunday to be sure. And if I can squeeze in another live chat midweek, then I'll do so as well. But I can't guarantee that's going to happen. That's it for today, guys. So if you enjoy the chat, please give me a thumbs up. The thumbs up definitely helps please the YouTube gods, that will then share the video out with more people, and hopefully we can grow the channel. Without your thumbs ups and your likes, usually YouTube will just take advantage of the free content and make money, and we get nothing out of it. So let's try and help promote the channel, and hopefully we'll see more people here next time. So guys, have a great week, stay safe, keep rocking, play your music, and don't forget to keep the guitar gods happy. Play your guitar. All right. See you soon. Talk to you later.